What's up guys, Cannondale here, welcome to our little studio. We are talking about bike sizing today. We've started our video series about bike sizing and bike fitting with some just basic informations about what kind of size of the bike might be good for us. Then we've talked about a stock and reach measurements on our bikes. And then I've showed you also the comparison of two different bikes, a Triathlon B8 Global Concept that's hanging on there on the wall and our Cannondale Cat 10. The measurements were completely different of those two bikes because these are different bikes, Triathlon and a race road bike. But also I've promised you to compare two bikes of the same brand, and that is the Cannondale Slice that you can see on our screen and Cannondale SuperSiv. And then at the end I will also show you the Trek Emonda SLR because that will be also something interesting. Why do I want to show you these two bikes and why am I doing all these videos? It's actually to tell you that there is no such thing as a right size bike for you. So maybe you didn't want to hear that, but it's actually a good news because you can be trying with different bikes. You can try how the bike handles, how heavy the bike is and how do you feel on the bike, and you would probably be able to fit into maybe 3 sizes of the same model, like maybe Cannondale Cat 10 I would be able to fit into 54, 56, 58. I'm riding 56, but some guys my size, I'm 6 feet tall, would rather choose 58 because of the different angles. So that's also something we want to consider. Let's just get into those two bikes. Cannondale Slice, it's the highest model, high mode black, and also the Cannondale SuperSiv Evo black. So the high-end models of Cannondale, and if we go down, you already know that this one is the triathlon bike, of course, and this one is the racing machine. If we just so quickly click from one to other side, you will see on those different windows. Just look at the saddle. You can see the saddle moving forward on Cannondale Slice. Look at the handlebar. The handlebar is different, of course, but it's higher on our SuperSiv. And now please look at the fork. There is also something happening with the front wheel. Why is that? What kind of measurements should we be considering here? Let's just go down to the geometry charts. This one is for SuperSiv and this one is for Slice. We'll be talking about Slice, not Slice RS, but Slice RS is typically time trialing bike. Slice is for like different disciplines. It's the one that we can use for triathlon. And now the first and foremost, we'll be talking about those sizes that we quite often use, which is 54, 56, 58. Maybe we'll just focus on 54 and then look at the Slice. We do not have actually 56 and 58 centimeters size. We do have 54, 57 and then 60. So there is already difference in the sizing, in the different frames or levels of the sizes. But what will be the difference? Let's just start with a stock and reach measurement. Since we do have both 54 centimeters sizes, let's just focus on 54. Now, I would probably, using 56 on SuperSiv, would choose 54 on triathlon bike, but let's just compare 54 sizes. Alright, so stock is this N measurement. That's the distance between the bottom bracket and it's the vertical distance and the top of our head tube, right? So N distance. So it will show you how high the bike is between the bottom bracket, the center of our pedaling movement, and the top of our head tube where we have to mount our handlebar. So for 54 size triathlon Slice, the stock is 52.7 centimeters. Now for our 54 SuperSiv race road bike, the stock will be 55.1. So we have 55 versus 52. That's a lot of the difference, right? A lot of the difference. So 52 for triathlon bike, so this bike will be, the distance between the bottom bracket and top of our head tube will be smaller. So the bike will be more slack, or will be leaning down forward, which is understandable for the triathlon bike. And then another thing is the reach. That's the O measurements. This is also the distance between the bottom bracket and the top of the head tube, but this one is horizontal, right? So between this point and this point here, that's the reach. It means how far do we reach to reach the handlebar. We do not measure it from the saddle, because the saddle will move and the bottom bracket just stays there. So let's just look at the reach for our 54 slice. Right, reach for our 54 sized slice has 40.4 centimeters, 40.4, and for our SuperSiv 39.3. So it's almost the same, but you may be surprised that for a racing road bike, the reach, this distance, the horizontal distance between the bottom bracket and the top of the head tube is a bit smaller actually. Why is it so? It's because of mostly because of the next measurement, and that's the seat tube angle. Seat tube angle, that's seat tube, that's the angle. It's not between the seat tube and the chainstay, but between the seat tube and the horizontal line, C. For our Cannondale SuperSiv, the seat tube angle is 53.8, and now let's just look at our triathlon bike. It will be, it was 73.8, and here it will be 79, and if we just look at those two bikes, you will see that right away. All right, once more, look at the saddle moving forward and upwards on the slice. So the angle of the seat tube is so much different. We are leaning much forward. We are not riding on the hoods on the slice on the triathlon bike, because there is no such thing as the hoods. We are supporting our upper body on the elbows, so we do need to move forward. The place where we actually sit on the saddle against the bottom brackets, it does change, it does move forward. So our legs and our knees will also work differently. Why is it so? Why is the geometry so much different here? Of course, we are having different position on the triathlon bike. We do want to have the aerodynamic position, which will not be that comfortable as on our SuperSiv. That's why we can see the head tube much longer, and so the stock measurement will be so much different between slice and SuperSiv. So slice will not be that high, SuperSiv will be much higher. And then of course our saddle move forward so that we can be supporting ourselves on the elbows, having this aerodynamic position. And a couple of more reasons for the whole geometry here. We do have to think also about the way we do produce power on the triathlon bike. So that will be just the best position when we just take 3 points, like the top of the head tube and just point where we actually sit, our weight sits on the saddle, and the bottom bracket. Those three must be in some harmony here, and they are. And then why is the fork moving forward on the slice? It has to do with two things. One is of course handling of the bike. The SuperSiv Evo handling will be very sharp because this angle here is steeper. On the slice, the head tube angle and of course the fork blades angle are more slack, so the front wheel is moving forward. and it's also due to the shoe overlap problem. So we don't want to have shoe overlap problem. So we cannot be moving bottom bracket just where we want to. We do have to think about the geometry of the bike and to fit our shoes so that we do not hit too easily the front wheel. So that's the difference between the Slice and the SuperSiv. We used to say maybe 10 or more years ago that if you stand over the bike and you have some distance, it's okay, and then when you sit on the saddle and you do not straighten your knee completely on the bottom of the pedal stroke, you're good to go. Now it's different. We're talking so much about bike sizing and bike fitting, but still some fitters would tell you that this is the right size for you, or you should have 35 degrees angle here, 90 degrees here, and then you're good to go. It's not just like that. So for example, for my size, 6 feet tall guy, I would think about even 3 sizes of SuperSiv, and here for Slice probably 54, 57, but rather 54. So when you're buying bike and you really want to stick to cycling, I would not recommend buying a super good bike, something that you have been dreaming on. I would rather buy some cheap or even a used bike just to check my geometry or my feelings of the bikes, and also the way I am using the bike and my riding style, and then I would make a decision. So this was the comparison of a triathlon and a race road bike. So the differences in geometry have to be huge actually, and let's just delete the triathlon bike and see both race bikes, both high-end from Cannondale and Trek, and then we'll see again that geometry differs a lot. We don't see it as we could see on the Cannondale side, but if we go down for the geometry chart, we will see some huge differences. Again, Trek Emonda SLR, super fancy, super cool, super light. It's the one competing with Cannondale SuperSiv. The 54 frame size, let's just see the head-tube length. We have 12 centimeters of the head-tube length. That's the one here. 12 centimeters between those 2 points. And if we go for SuperSiv, we can see the difference right away. For same size, 54 size, the head-tube length, where is the head-tube length here? Head-tube length we've got here, it's 15.5, so it's huge difference. It's huge difference. It's like the difference between Cannondale SuperSiv and Cannondale CAD 8, which is like some sportive bike, not made for racing actually, and that's it. These two bikes will get you into an aerodynamic position, but in a different way. You would probably like to try a couple of different stems here, but this is just one of the measurements of the dimensions that I wanted to show you. It can be a huge difference for same size of two different bikes. If we looked for stock and reach for those two bikes, it will be quite similar. Many angles will be almost the same, but as you can see, sometimes some dimensions can differ so much, and it can mean so much for you also. So just bear it in mind. There is no such thing as the right size for you, like only one right size. We cannot say that for me 56 for a road bike and like maybe 18 inches for a mountain bike. We cannot say that. So all I'm gonna say to you is that it's a great journey. Cycling is a great journey, and finding a right bike for you, really fitting for you, like, you know, your favorite chair or your favorite car that's handling, that has the right seats and everything for you. That's how it works with the bicycles. So geometry will have a lot to do with the bike weight, the way the bike handles, and the way that you feel on the bike. And remember, the best bike for you is the one that fits you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.